interactive talk program right here on 102.7, 1300 AM. That's on radio. But we are now streaming live on tvcarib.com and also on Facebook and yes, TikTok. For those of you who have Gramey Browne as one that you follow, he also have a TikTok account and he's been streaming live there while I give away who would be my guest for today. In any case, we'll jump right into our conversation right after this. Good afternoon once again and welcome back to In The View. It's your Wednesday afternoon interactive talk program right here on 102.7, 1300 AM. And of course, again, we are live streaming on all the platforms that you can think of. TikTok, Facebook, tvcarib.com. What else is there? Everything else. All right, good to have you folks. And I know because this is drive time, most of our audience, especially here on St.Maarten, is those persons who are either heading home or heading out to work, whichever way your journey or your destination really is. It's always good to have you. And we make it a point of duty that we have a more interactive live discussion on your Wednesday afternoon to make it a little juicy, you know. It doesn't have to be that rigid and straightforward and serious, but of course, that fits right into those persons who are likely to be my audience at this time of the day. Well, I'm here with Gramey Browne, who have written several books, quite a number of them, but we'll be focusing our attention on one today that I believe is going to relate to about 75-85% of the homes and persons listening. By the way, you might have a sister, a daughter, a friend, a niece. I'm talking about the female kind just for the moment. His book is called Dating Advice to My Daughter. So I think if any one of those description that we just give when it comes to the female gender fits into your family unit, you can relate to what will be discussed today. And of course, to a certain extent, we're going to be talking about even some grown-ups who have reached to a point where they never even thought that they would ever be in a relationship or looking for a relationship again. And mind you, because it's a very lonely world out there when you're alone, you may want to give consideration, if you've passed those ages, to maybe get back there, and there would be some advice for you as well. It's not written in stone. You can take it, you can discard it, you can fix it, and do it your way. Good afternoon, Gramey. Good to have you. And it's always a pleasure to have you in. Hey, we're covering all of the platforms today, it seems.
Yes. So I told you well, good afternoon, radio listeners, or good afternoon, everybody who's streaming, if it is night, morning, wherever you are. And to my TikTok followers, this is the first time I'm broadcasting a live interview on TikTok. So, yeah.
All right. And how can people follow you on TikTok?
Gramey Browne. So TikTok, Gramey, Gramey, Browne.
Mm-hmm. And is the reason why you shifted to TikTok?
I was doing Facebook, but I guess the new hip thing is TikTok. Wasn't getting a lot of traction on Facebook.
Okay.
And so I kind of like, okay, let me try something new.
Uh-huh.
So
I thought maybe the Gen Zs, the new generation, are the ones who use TikTok the most. And people usually associate TikTok with, dancing and doing other stuff and that kind of stuff.
It is. I did too. But there's a lot of millennials. There's even some Gen X.
Okay.
I'm meeting a lot of people in their 50s, mid and late 50s, and there's all kind of different rooms. Mm-hmm. I'm part of a room which is a mentorship program, and also one that is a on TikTok. We had our first week last week, and we're talking about men's health. Mm-hmm. And so,
that book that we'll be talking about this afternoon is my favorite, right?
Yeah, I know that's your favorite book. Dating Advice. It's the one I have more conversation of than learning the business. So the two books are really the two ones I talk about a lot.
Yeah.
But the Dating Advice it's the conversation are never ending.
Mm-hmm. I want you to spend just a couple of seconds talking to somebody who have not, maybe of late, or they are not really into reading, and what it means to just buy some time, take some time out of your day, and just do some reading?
Yeah, reading is the fundamental of learning. Most people who can't read at all learn very little. And so, yes, you could show them, and then they can, monkey see, monkey do. But when you can read it, read and give you a different understanding. And if you can read and you love to read, you can learn anything.
Is there something you can say for those persons who have never given or never felt the drive to want to pick up a book?
I just pick it up. You can immerse yourself into anything that you're interested in, and your imagination can run wild while you read, and you can just put yourself, especially if you get any one of my 3 novels, you can really, the way I write and describe, it will be as if you're actually there in the scene. So please pick up a book, one of mine or any author, especially us local authors. Pick up a book. They're available in all the bookstores, and read.
There's something that says reading is fundamental.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's turn our attention towards dating advice. Is this still the original book that you have released some time ago?
Yes. This is still. Haven't changed anything. Haven't done a book 2. Haven't added any pages.
Okay.
No.
The book Dating Advice, you say that a woman stands out with her youth and beauty, and a man stands out with his resources. Women seem to think this is controversial, but it's more than that, right? Please explain.
Oh, so many women say, yeah, but it's my intellect and my education. But none of that matters at first glance. You can't look at someone and say, oh, they have a bachelor's degree.
Because you don't know.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
So it is what you look like physically. It does encompass how you dress, how your hair is done. It encompasses how you look. It's physical attraction that really gets the guy to come over and say, hey, how are you? Or wow, I like whatever. It's something he see. Men are very visual, right? And I use the reference a lot. Men judge the book by the cover. And when we come over, it's because we love the cover. And when we say hi and the conversation begins, it's like turning the book over and reading the synopsis. And if we love the synopsis, that's the short conversation we have with you, then we're interested in opening the book, chapter 1. That's where you get the first date. And
so you say your presentation alone can be an open door to just about the start of any relationship.
The start of everything. It's like if you go to a job interview, you dress the part, correct? Because you want to give an impression.
Yes.
So when you walk in the door, they don't just say, who is this? Well, it's the same thing. Men do this all the time. So when you leave your house, dress appropriately, especially if you're single, because you don't know who will be looking at you. And how you are, it can actually bring them to you. Yeah. Or it's like, ugh.
But does a woman actually approach, do they ever make the initial first step to approach someone who might be attractive in terms of what he looks like? Talk about him.
Some women do. Most women don't. They don't make the first step. But some women will do. And you can do it, I say if a guy makes eye contact with you and you're interested, a little smile before you turn your head away will give him like, ooh, she might be interested, and it brings him over. Because some women say, but I'm out there, guys are seeing me, I dress all kind of way, but nobody approaches. And I'm like, well,
what could be the problem?
Sometimes you're just out there serious. Like, okay, who's coming around to look at me? And everybody think you're angry. When you make eye contact with a smile says, I'm available for approach. And if you're not available for approach, nobody wants to be let down, right? So if I think you're angry for whatever reason, some guys, the players will come over to try to cheer you up. But more serious guys be like, okay, she looked like, She on something. So
Another scenario that can well happen before I move to my another question is some women are very reluctant to even respond to somebody who might even be starting off with a compliment.
Yeah.
And as a result, might be shaking off what could have been a good candidate for a relationship. How do you figure that one out?
It's the approach. If you're friendly, I say a lot, guys lead with kindness. That's part of the making of what a man is. He's kind, he's generous, he's courteous. And females, well, one of the biggest thing you have to be is friendly. And then they come back, you can't be too friendly. You have the power to stop any conversation that is going where you don't want it to go, right? But not being friendly is not having the conversation begin with.
Yeah.
And so many women pass their husbands, ignore their husband, their future husbands, and it never happened. And they're like, well, why I can't get this guy? Well, that guy probably passed your way. Maybe 10 of him passed your way. They just didn't stand out to you at the time, right? And then you have this situation where 80% of women are looking for the same top 20% of guys. Because once a man is built, he becomes a lot more attractive to a lot more women, right? And now women...
That doesn't say that they're a good candidate for marriage, though.
No, but that's where the crowd goes. And so because you miss the regular guy, the average guy, who doesn't stand out, because you're chasing after the thing that glitters,
The looks.
Yeah. You miss out. I had a post the other day, if 80% of women are chasing after the top 20% of men, what happens to the other 80%?
Big question. You talk a lot about women celebrating being single too as well. And even though that's financially harder, what's really going on there? Is that ego, or is it empowerment? What is it?
It's the modern feminist movement with empowerment of being single, when in reality, being single is financially strenuous on both sides. And I was talking the other day about so many women run out of finances when they retire, and that's because they spend more time living single. They also live longer than we do. They don't invest as aggressively as we do. They don't earn as much as we do. It's just a math equation. So when you're thinking, I'm going to go through life alone, being independent, I'm going to pay all my bills, what happens when you're 65 and you're no longer working, you're no longer in your career, you're no longer in your high earning? Do you have enough to last the next 20 years? Most women don't.
What really happens there when a woman reaches the age of 55, 60 and find themselves alone? What is it that they're actually looking for, in your view? By the way, folks, what Gramey is sharing is just for your consideration. It's not written in stone that what he says is actually what should happen. It's just worth considering. The 55, 60 woman, I'm speaking more of women, that at that age is a relationship or anything of that nature then necessary or important?
Yeah, it is, because if you haven't built up a financial cushion, and you're alone, you're paying all your bills alone, well, will your finances last you the next 20 years? In most cases, unless you have, a social security check or a retirement check and a pension fund from your career, which gives you two streams of income. We're talking anywhere, I guess in St.Maarten, it'll be anywhere from, I would say, $20,000 a year to $35,000 a year. And in the US, you're talking $35,000 to $50,000 annually. You're basically broke. You're struggling financially, And so some women are dating at that age for companionship. They're dating for financial ease. They're dating. Most of it is companionship. Someone to go to the movies with. Someone to go out and have a meal with. Hold hands. Take a walk down in the park. Go on vacation with. I mean, there's only so much your girlfriends can really do, and the same conversation you're gonna have, And so I see them in Uber, I see them on TikTok. I'm coaching someone right now who's 60. She was married when she was 19, and now, we're talking 30 years after, and she want to get back out in the market, and she has no clue because she hasn't been doing it for 30 years.
But you just mentioned that you've seen some on TikTok. I think I have too as well. And I wanted to bring that in the conversation because these are actually women 55, 60, some a little bit more older. And they are telling you plain that if you're serious, they're serious and they're looking for a serious relationship.
Yeah, they want commitment, and they're not looking to date like a year. They're like, listen, if we connect, I'm in. 1 month, 2 months, let's move in. Let's,
And marriage sometimes comes into the conversation.
Some want to get married, some don't care, but they're saying we can consolidate. I could rent my house out and move into yours, or you could rent your house out, move into mine. We share bills, because for both sides, it's financials, it's loneliness, especially for those who never had kids.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have? Maybe some of your parents, siblings has passed, and you're just alone, and you're just depending on friends, and you didn't build, or you don't have a big enough network.
Some of those questions that I've asked, have you featured them in your book?
Yeah. There's a whole chapter of the 5 reasons why people date, and one of them is companionship. One is career. One of them is dating for marriage, committed relationships. There's all different reasons why people, want to get back out there. And to each his own. I'm not going to judge anyone, but whatever your reason is, commit to it. Because I say you have to date with a purpose. If you are not dating with a purpose, you fall under the default purpose of whatever the man's purpose is. And we can all agree 80% of a man's purpose for dating is...
sex.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, you and I have been spending that amount of time that we have since we started on the adult part of life. Dating advice to my daughter is one that was inspired by someone who was much younger.
Yes.
In preparation for life ahead. So, how important is that part when it comes to your younger
for younger
family members at home?
For younger generation, I mean, I say it's great when they start dating in high school, and do not confuse dating with intimacy, because they're two separate things, right?
Even in our culture, because a great part of dating is associated with intimacy.
So I separate dating from relationship, right? At one point you're dating, you're going to have ice cream, you're going to the movies, you're going to hang out at the boardwalk or the causeway or Simpson Bay or whatever. And then there's another section where you become intimate. The intimacy is a relationship, right? So I'm talking about dating.
Yes.
Because then you start to get the soft skills. Young ladies start figuring out what they don't want, right? And when they do want, they see one thing in John. John opens the door. John pays for ice cream. And then you start seeing the qualities when you go out with Henry. Henry's always with his chest up. He wants to fight anyone that looks at you, and then you're like, nah, I don't like Henry. I prefer John. So you start figuring out the type of person you like and the type of persons you don't like. And even if you got to take pieces of one guy to the other to make a wife, that's fine. So by the time you're ready to get into a relationship, you kind of have some real ideas based on actual experience and not just based on the voice in your head.
Should parents be concerned, and what kind of advice or what can be said to their daughters who might be showing interest? Because sometimes some of it done in obscurity as well. You don't know what's going on. And another time they tell you, should they become concerned, or what do you suggest that they do in terms of relating to the child?
They should definitely have a conversation with their children. Most most girls want, at 16, 17, they're in high school, they were seniors, they want to start having a boyfriend, and explain them, give them the pros and cons, show them, talk with them about the responsibility that they have to themselves, how they carry themselves, what they do, how they do it, what they don't do, what they shouldn't do, what they should never do. You know what I mean? And because they're going to leave high school and they're going to go to college. Most of them are going to leave the island, especially. Those in the U.S., they're going to leave their home state and they're going to go out. You cannot protect them forever. So you got to give them the tools, have the conversation, let them know what mistakes you made when you were their age. Because you were not always an angel. We all know we all know that. Keeping it a secret is not going to help your daughters, okay? So just have the conversation with them. Let them know what you did, what happened, what were the results, good, bad, and ugly, so they can actually learn from it.
So there's nothing to worry about, you're saying. They shouldn't become concerned.
No.
Finding out that your 16, 17-year-old is showing interest in having dates with a young man.
Boyfriend.
And keep in mind when you say dates,
dates is just the going out and hanging out with someone of the opposite sex.
Correct.
It's not a relationship. It's not intimacy.
Okay. I just want to establish
it's
that.
It's kind of like how parents have play dates. They still use the word date.
Yes.
They don't say hang out. They say play dates, right? So it's the same thing. I know some people would actually drop their kid off to the movie theater and they're right out there to pick them up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I also know some who say they're going to the movies, but they never reach. So
Yeah. I think it's a little bit part of our culture.
Yeah.
So we don't get confused between the dating aspect to associate it with somebody who are deeply involved
in a relationship
with, because they're young too. At that age, what kind of relationship can you really have?
Yeah, they're not really having a relationship.
With the exception of men having an ulterior motive,
yes,
or agenda, as the case may be. Okay, let's talk about boundaries here, because I'm wondering if should a woman commit a relationship and have a close male friend, or where do you draw the line between friendship and emotional cheating, or even having? Well, if you're having sexual intercourse, you're cheating, by the way.
Yeah. If you're intimate, it's cheating completely. But there's this new thing.
What
now,
if you don't have
emotional cheating?
What if you don't have a relationship? Would you call that cheating?
I would say no. But of course, different people, like I said, they have the new term now, emotional cheating.
Okay.
Right? Where you're in somebody's DMs, they put a picture on Facebook, you're liking it, you're making comment, you're da-da-da. People say that's cheating too. Or you're talking with a friend on WhatsApp, from the opposite sex. Why you always talking with she? Why you always talking with he? Mm-hmm. I believe male and female should always have friends of the opposite sex. Whether you're marriage, committed relationship or what, but it's between you and your partner in any case. For me and my wife, we don't have that issue. She has male friends, I have female friends, and I don't have any female friends that I am interested in. I don't know if any of them are interested in me, but they've never shown any interest. And if they did, that would be a clear boundary break. And I will cut them off the moment I know that.
Cut them off how so?
Just
because just letting them know you're not available is enough.
Not available is not going to happen. But if that's the way you feel, we can't be friends anymore. That's it.
That harsh?
Yeah. We're grown-ups.
Yeah.
I don't need to work around it. The moment you make a move, I need to let you know that's not what I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. We're either friends or we're not. Mm-hmm. And so if that is clear and everyone is on the same page, I don't see a problem with it. Because sometimes your boyfriend says something or your husband says something and you don't understand what it is, and so you react, right? Mm-hmm. It's good to have a male friend. You can say, hey, I'm asking for a friend. If so-and-so happens and somebody says this, what does that actually mean? Because I had to do that a lot. you know? And I was like, oh, it means this and that. And sometimes I'm hearing something that never even crossed my mind. I actually thought it was something completely different. Lucky for me, I didn't react to it at the time. You know, I took a deep breath and I'm like, this woman crazy. And then I could ask about it and I'm like, oh, that's what that means. And then I go back, hey, babe, remember that thing you were saying? Let's talk about it again.
Yeah.
Because now I actually understand what she was talking about.
Break down emotional cheating for me.
Emotional cheating is, you know, you will hear some guys are really waiting, right? And I've heard it myself. They're attracted to someone. That person is in a relationship. So they remain friends, just waiting their turn. I'm gonna wait till he break her heart. I'm gonna wait till she gains some weight. I'm gonna wait till he don't want her no more. And he's just, yeah, oh yeah. The conversation I heard, I'm like, really, dude? Really?
Emotional cheating.
Yeah. And then like some people have an infatuation against someone, but they can't make no move. So they're on their Facebook, their Instagram, they comment on every picture the person make, and you know. And I how I found out it was a thing, I made a comment on a picture of someone I used to date. I mean, this was like probably 10 or 15 years after. And I said, you still have those sexy eyes. And my wife saw it on the post because she was also in my Facebook. And my wife said, I don't want you saying that. She got to come off your Facebook page. I don't want that. And I was like, so what? I just said she got sexy eyes. She got sexy. And we had a whole thing about it. And that alerted me to that whole understanding. And so needless to say, I just, for the sake of peace.
That sounds a little bit like emotional cheating.
Exactly.
Or at least can be.
Yeah. And so I just took off my Facebook. And I've never made any comment on anybody's anything you're beautiful.
Is that consent that she's right?
I mean, do I need to prove her wrong? No. For the sake of the argument, I've just never done it anymore. So.
But with the new technology that are available today, you think much of that goes on?
Oh yeah. Again, it's the person. If you're with someone, especially for jealous people, that's a whole other
level.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. But casually, I can see it. There was some people I talk to, and I talk to them, and then they don't like. I send them a post or whatever, and then I don't get any response at all. And then every so often they'll respond, and I understand. You know, I understand.
Yeah. All right. We're at a point where I need to take a break. I'll do so, and then when we come back, we shift a little bit to the marriage level.
Okay.
You know, because a lot of persons listening, I'm sure, are already married, and it would be good for us to have that conversation as to what goes on even after you've been in a marriage for a certain amount of years.
Yes.
All right, this is Interview with yours truly, Wendell Moore, here with Gramey Browne, who have written a book called Dating Advice to My Daughter. We are actually dealing a little bit with a lot of what goes on in family circles, with individuals, establishing one's life and re-establishing the whole 9 yards. We'll continue our conversation after we did it. And welcome back to our Wednesday afternoon interactive talk program right here on 102.7, 1300 AM and on the live stream. Gramey Browne is here with me. He has written a book called Dating Advice to My Daughter. And I dare say much of what is being discussed or what you have heard thus far by no means suggests that what he says is the only way to have it done or get it done right. But it's worth considering. And much of what he talked about is covered in the book. So one of the things that you really need to do at least is to be able to get a copy of that book. It's in bookstores all over. And it's... let's see, it's how much is the price tag on that one?
It's $20.
$20.
$19.95.
Yeah. Anywhere you go at all of the bookstores. So, you know, what you can do with this, it's more like a manual to the point where you can use some of the advice therein, or you can apply them to your own personal life, because even when you're married, after being married for 29, 30 years. I wonder what are some of the things that, what's most common in terms of the mistakes made after 29 years of marriage?
So I'm with my wife for 29 years. We're coming up on 25 years of marriage. I think one of the common mistakes that people don't consider is you have to keep dating your wife or husband. The same thing that was used to get you all together, you have to keep doing to keep you all together. Otherwise, you may not stay, right? People complain 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yes.
Yes, they do. I say it's because 50% of those people should have never been married in the first place.
There was no
They're messing up the
time.
stats.
There was no dating time.
They didn't get to know each other well enough, or they married for various reasons.
Yes.
Or after they got married, they thought something miraculously was going to happen after the paper was signed and the ink was dry. No, nothing is going to really change. You just have to continue doing whatever it is you were doing now that you have the commitment that you're going to stay together long term. Because every marriage is going to end. It's either going to end when death do you part or in divorce. So there's a 50-50 chance on which one, right? For me, the first time I got married, the first time when I was 20, of course that ended in divorce. So now I decided if and when I got married again, it will be until death do me part. Of course, I can only control my side, but I am committed
to your marriage.
To be in the marriage and stay in it, because if you don't have the commitment, some people, they get married for love, some people get married for happiness. I could tell you, as a man who's married for 25 years, if you're not committed, love and happiness is not going to help you. Commitment is the one, and I said it in a post, if your marriage or relationship is not built on a foundation of commitment, it will crumble in the falling walls of love and the collapsing roof of happiness.
Is there anything else that plays in someone making a foolish decision of deciding to want to divorce your family when in fact they have very little reason to do so? What influence from outside can that?
Yeah. You got influence from friends, influence from family. You got the in-laws. You ever heard of the mother-in-law from hell?
Is that a book?
No, but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And especially with the mama's boy.
Yeah.
Where the mom is influencing everything. And if she doesn't like the daughter-in-law, she's got trouble, So there's so many different factors. And then there's also the internal factors. Communication breakdown. Neither party have enough tolerance. Most of them, they reach to the point where they can no longer compromise. I do a quiz that said, I give 3 words and I say, which ones does not belong in a relationship or a marriage? Compromise, tolerate, and settling. And most people get it wrong because they confuse the meaning of settling, And explain them, compromise comes from a position of strength. It's you and someone compromising on whatever it is that you want to compromise on. It's solely between the two of you.
Is compromise mandatory, you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can't compromise in relationship, even on your job, in school, like if you don't have compromising in you, you're not going to get very far, because then you're saying it's your way or the highway.
Yes.
And the highway may be a better option.
Yeah.
in most cases. And then you have
tolerance.
Tolerance.
Yes.
That is done from one side. Something you don't have to address every single thing. There is some things that's just going to be annoying that you decide to live with.
Yeah.
And both sides need that. Now, I would say I tolerate my wife. She will tell you she
tolerate you.
She'd tolerate me a lot. She may add a lot to it. You know.
But isn't that something that finds itself on a scale?
Yeah.
In the relationship,
As
tolerance, because if I'm tolerating you, maybe it is worth more for me to tolerate what that little thing is versus the good of many that is as a result of being with you.
Because if you want to compromise on everything, it means you have to address everything. But there's some things that's not worth addressing. Maybe putting the toilet seat down. Maybe having 2 rolls of toilet paper in the toilet at the same time. So that way, at least when the first one is done, you don't have to go grab the other one right away. You have another 2 weeks or so. You know what I mean? So you have tolerance. The only time tolerance become not such a good thing is when it interfere with your boundaries or your standards or your own integrity.
Okay.
So you tolerate up to a certain point.
Yes.
And then you need to have a conversation so you can compromise. The one that does not belong is settling. Because settling comes from a position of fear. Settling means I'm going to settle for this because I don't think there's something better. I don't think I have more options. I don't think I can walk away. And that's what settling means.
Is that in any way connected to abuse?
Everything. Because when you settle, you get into relationships where you basically, the same way you feel you don't have better options, now you're choosing an option that doesn't give you other options.
Oh.
And so the buzzword, I'm not going to settle just for any guy, da-da-da-da, but you're not doing it out of fear. You're doing it out of just a great choice because you don't want to compromise. When in reality, compromise is a big part of relationships and settling isn't. And so you have to really know the meaning of the word. Since you hear to say words has meaning, since I became an author, I really understand this.
Yeah.
Words has meaning. And now I'm like constantly explaining some of the words that I used to take for granted and say, so settling is never good, right? That's more used when you're in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Then it's settling because you have to make a choice, right? Even though you don't like your choices, it doesn't mean you don't have a choice. You just have 2 choices you don't like. In that context, you have to settle.
Do you learn any on your journey to writing some of these books? I would want to assume that maybe you do some deep dive on some of the topics to be able to make sense of the material.
With this book, I had a male editor and a female editor.
Okay.
I wrote the book in 2 weeks, and then I sent it to the male editor, and he sent it back. He's like, really good. You could add some more pages. There's so much more. I said, okay, no problem. But before I did that, I sent his edited work to a female editor. And when that came back, oh my God, you didn't cover this. You didn't cover that. You didn't. What about this?
So it becomes thorough in the end.
Exactly. So now I had a male editor, and these are people who see plenty of content, and then I spoke to many female friends, male friends, and go from the aspect of what we want to tell our kids, especially our daughters.
Before I move to my next question, I'm wondering what stats is out there that says what is the most reasons for people to divorce? What
we don't have those statistics here. No. The Caribbean don't hold those statistics. In the U.S., most of it is irreconcilable differences.
Okay.
Right.
When do you reach to that point?
Where we grew apart.
See things differently.
Yeah, we're no longer communicating. We don't see eye to eye. For whatever reason. And some states have a no-fault divorce, which means you just put irreconcilable difference. And no one asks a question. That's the end of it. And then you have infidelity, which is number 2 actually, and not number 1.
Oh, okay.
I think those would be the top 2. I don't know the rest of the stats by heart, but so.
Okay. I said that because I get the feeling when listening to you that dating, which I think is often confused, especially in the Caribbean area, to be something else other than dating, with a full knowledge of dating,
Right.
which leads to my next question. What is the main problem you think that is causing modern women to not get what they want from their dating market? Is it because it's confusing for them, or dating for many is defined as we have to have sexual relationships?
I mean, nowadays, in the last, I would say, 20 years, we are in a hookup culture. So people are really, many are dating for intimacy. So they meet
Dating
online
for intimacy. Yes.
So which is the hookup. You go out, we have ice cream. After ice cream, let's go do that, right? Or they meet each other online.
Yes.
They chat a little bit, maybe a week, back and forth. And by the time they meet on the first time in person, that's what they're meeting for, right? Or that's the expectation of one party over the other. And then you also have the expectation, right? So many females, they're dating for a built man. And they don't realize everyone else is at the same time. And so now you have to compete. So many women were told, get your education first before you get a partner. And so they get their education, they start a career, and then they look in a partner that is equal to them or higher. Men date opposite. By the time the man gets there, he's dating younger, he's dating down. He's not looking for someone as educated as him or someone at the same level he is. And so that's the mismatch. And so many females get frustrated because now they can't get what they want because they've built themselves in such a way that they're out of the range of a large percentage of available male, which is what we talk about. Yeah. If 80% is they're looking for the top 20%, what happens to the 80% that no one is interested in?
Yeah. Well, if you say, most of this you say is given in the book.
Yeah. And for the high achieving females, there's an entire chapter about it. Okay. It's called The Paradox of the Catch-22.
Okay.
And I talk about that in reality, and you can look it up what the paradox of the Catch-22 is. You know.
You said men are hunters. Does that mean women are the prey?
Yep.
What if a woman don't feel that they're the prey? And sometimes you can get it wrong.
I get a lot of pushback on the word prey, but if you want to be pursued, women want to be pursued, right? Who's pursuing you?
Don't men want to be pursued too as well?
Very few.
Very few. Okay.
Very few. So, we were always the hunters, right? Women were always the gatherers, okay? And men pursue women.
Correct.
That's the whole, you can't confuse the word because you don't like it. That's the word, you know what I mean? Men are called dogs. Well, what do dogs do? They chase after a bone. This is just the way it is. So I don't think it's offensive. We're not using the B word or anything like that. We're saying men are hunters. We are coming for you. We're looking for you. We want you. We're pursuing you. Right? And if you are the prize, well, we're coming for the prize. That's what we do. This is part of human behavior. We want the prize. And so if you are the prize and no one is coming for you, well, are you really the prize, or are you a next word that most women don't like to hear, are you the prize or are you the participation trophy? Because some women act like a participation trophy. A participation trophy, everyone who participates gets one, right? If you're the prize, then you're special. Only the person who wins gets the prize. So you have the gold medal, the silver medal, and the bronze. The rest people just get a placement. They don't get a prize. You know what I mean? Or they get a participation trophy. So which one are you?
Okay, so how do they determine which they are?
When you're in a long-term relationship, a long-term committed relationship, or a marriage, you get an engagement ring, then you're the prize. You know, someone just came and collect their prize.
So what you bring to the table?
Bringing to the table, I mean, everybody brings something to the table, right? Modern men are asking women now what they bring to the table. And most women, no matter how high they go, they still want a traditional man. Because traditional men don't ask what you bring to the table. We, by interacting with you, know what you bring to the table. You know, you become our counselors, our helpmate. You are the nurturer for our families, our children, even for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we see your emotional intelligence and your emotional maturity, that's part of what we accept that you bring to the table. But so many women, especially the educated ones, they want to brag about their degree and their career. That doesn't mean anything to a traditional man. You know, we look at who you are, how much peace you are, how much grace you bring, you know. We don't want another man or half of another man. We want a woman, feminine, soft, kind, sweet, loving, you know. So.
In your book, you talk a lot about dating with purpose. Your support of being commitment relationships or committed relationships versus exclusive relationships need to be explained.
Yes, many of women don't understand the difference between the two. So, exclusive relationship is when it's just you and the other person is exclusively dealing with each other, whether it's intimacy, you're hanging out, you're going on vacations, you're doing everything, but you're not living together. It's not a commitment. You're just exclusively dealing with each other. That's exclusive relationship. And some people stay in it for 5-10 years and they age out. Some of them don't have kids because, I'm only going to get a child for a husband. But yet you're in this exclusive relationship for 5-10 years. You don't live together. You're not planning a future. You don't have kids. You go on vacations. So you're playing house on weekends. You're going on vacations, and then you come back home, and you jump in 2 separate cars to go home. That's exclusive. Now, in a committed relationship, both of you are intertwined. Your lives are intertwined with the other person. You share a home. If you want to break up, when you're in an exclusive relationship, you could break up by text message. You could break up by voice note, right? Because he could always swing by and pick up a bag with his things. Or you could swing by and pick up, or they could drop it off at your house. When you're in a committed relationship, you need to plan the breakup because both of your lives are intermingled. You may have a co-signed loan for your car. Who does the car belong to now? We live in the same home. Maybe the two of you have to actually leave that home because neither one of you can pay the rent alone. Or maybe it's not wise for one of you to stay. So you both have to leave. Or one person have to leave for sure because the relationship is no longer there. And so that needs to be a plan. In a committed relationship, you're making plans for the future. Committed relationship normally leads to marriage, you know? And so there is a future there, future investment, future building. You're building something together. You're raising a family together. But exclusive, you're just apart doing what you want to do.
You think having a child before you meet someone who you think is considered best suited for a relationship gets in the way of that, or dating actually allow you to know all this ahead of time, which would then prepare you to make a decision not to go ahead of yourselves, knowing that there's a child involved?
If you don't prioritize making babies for a husband, it means you're a baby mama. And I say that in the book, and my female editor pushed back a lot. We have come so far that we even have single parent by choice.
Yes.
But then when they're ready to date, now by default, that guy has to be a stepfather. You may not like the term. Oh no, I could take care of my children. I don't need a man. But if it's a man is in the house with you and your child, he's playing the role of a stepfather. I was a stepfather. I was raised by a stepfather, and I say not all stepfathers are created equal. And some men will not date women with kids, period. And for different reasons. Right? I have friends who said, I'm not going to date a woman with a child because when we break up, that child I would have bonded with that child, and now that child is gone, and I don't have anything. And some guys don't want to take care of another man's child. And then some guys doesn't want to deal with the father of those children because this man's going to show up, once a week or every other week. And then if you're a good stepfather, you're exposing some of the bad things about the father. And now there is proof that you're the better guy, and therefore you have all these rifts because men compete with each other, period. That's just what we do. And so for many different reasons, men don't want to be stepfathers. And then you have some of the women that have girl children. After a certain age, they have to consider not dating or not bringing anyone home for security of their child. And now, their happiness has to be sacrificed until the child kind of leaves the house. So there's many different reasons why. So if you don't bring, if you don't have a child out of wedlock, you eliminate all of those. And then there is also single parent due to no fault of your own. Husband passing, a divorcee, and studies show that women that are divorcees get a stepdad easier than those who were just not married to begin with.
You can answer this one with a yes or no.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to buy time here.
Sure.
I'm almost at my wit's end. But do you think men, and I know this have a lot to do with dating, do you think men should still open doors, pay for dates, walk women to their car, or?
Absolutely. I do it. I open my wife's car, doors, restaurant. She'll walk right up. And my daughter does the same. They'll walk right up. I'm coming. They just stand in front of the door.
What does that say of a man?
Oh, that's kindness. That is the making of a man. Every young man I mentor and talk to, I'm like, part of being a man is kindness. Being courteous. Being gentle. You have to activate the lion and the lamb. You have written 9 books. That's quite a lot.
Yes. This one stands out, especially for me.
That's your favorite.
Because of the many advice that is given. Why should people get a copy of this? Quickly.
I say it's not a rule book, but it's a guide. And it's information from someone. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think, what I believe, what I actually know. And it's have conversations that me and my daughter actually had inside the book. And again, whatever you can use, you drop it on the ground. Whatever you can use, take it, embrace it, apply it.
So it's not a rule of thumb, but it's worth considering.
Yes. It's a very much a guidebook. So.
Wow. What an afternoon that was. Gramey Browne, folks, from the book Dating Advice to My Daughter. Timeless wisdom on what? Navigating modern relationships. I was trying to read it with a naked eye, but it's not always the best.
And this book is available at Christian Bookstore, Anya's Bookstore,
Van
Dorp, and Adolphus Richardson.
I got them all covered. There's one in French Quarter.
And video block in French Quarter called 5530071 for free delivery.
Yes.
I took all of those from Pineapple Pete. He has all my other books. But I ran out of these books, so I had to grab his. But Pineapple Pete have all my other books as well. You could go there and grab a book.
What a way to end this conversation.
Amazon
as well. The ISBN number, you get it the next time. That's it, folks, for this afternoon. I want to thank Gramey for coming in and sharing yet another different topic. Yes, I'm sure you can absorb some of it and use it to your advantage. We'll be back next Wednesday afternoon with another interactive talk program right here on 102.7. I want to thank you so much, those on TikTok, those on Facebook, and also on the live stream. We'll see you next Wednesday. You take care of yourself. Goodbye.